Good morning, everyone. I'm Alberto Sandoval, Senior Director of Community and Government Relations for UCI, and we're excited. I'm extremely excited because I get to introduce my ultimate boss at UCI. But before that, let me introduce our President and CEO of the Newport Beach Chamber, Steve Rozanski.
Still not used to these cordial introductions. It's refreshing. Anyway, good morning. I'm Steve Rozanski, President and CEO of the Newport Beach Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to our September edition of Wake Up Newport. I'm surprised there's not more people here this morning, so you guys are fortunate that you're the fortunate few to get to hear our guest speaker in a few minutes. And thank you all for coming out. I'll quickly introduce I'll quickly introduce the dignitaries, and a big dignitary just walked in. But I'll start with my good friend Keith Curry, former mayor and city council member. Morning, Keith. And our city manager, Grace Leung. Thank you, Grace, for coming. And Pierre Swan, Irvine Ranch Water District. Thank you for coming, Pierre. I think that kind of covers it. We've got Paul here. He's a former Newport Beach firefighter. Thank you for coming, Paul. So, if you hadn't seen it already in the back, we do have some breakfast treats from Scratch Bakery. So I'm going to ask Michael back there to come up and say a couple words and tell us about Scratch Bakery. We did a great ribbon cutting. Come on, you work your way forward while I'm talking. We did a great ribbon cutting for them last week, I think it was. They're over in Fashion Island. He's going to tell you a little bit about what Scratch Bakery is all about.
Good morning. My name is Michael Riggs. I'm with Scratch Bakery Cafe. We just opened in Fashion Island in June. We've been in Laguna Hills since 2014, and we are family owned and argued over on a daily basis. We're glad to be here. This is a small representation of what we do. We also do full breakfast and lunch. The best breakfast sandwich you will ever have. It's made on English muffins that we make every day fresh. Everything is made from scratch daily. We don't use mixes. It's flour and butter and sugar, and our ovens turn on every morning at 3 o'clock, and by the time we open at 7, everything is fresh and ready to go. So I hope you guys stop by and enjoy what I brought today. We also do catering, breakfast and lunch as well. And please stop by and see what we have to offer. And thank you for inviting me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, I tried the food a couple of times over there. It's delicious, so I definitely recommend. They're over near, right around the corner from R&D Cafe and Neiman Marcus and Bloomingdale's in that area. So definitely stop by. Our sponsor couldn't be here this morning, First Republic Bank, but I'll put in a quick plug for them. If you're looking for financing, I know they have programs for just about everything, car loans, commercial loans, lending. I'm actually going to meet with them tomorrow for a loan for myself. So definitely recommend First Republic Bank. And I think that's about it. So I'm going to turn it back over to Alberto. He'll introduce our speaker. And at the end, I'll just give a couple of closing announcements about upcoming events. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. So this really is a special treat because, normally other people get to introduce the boss of bosses. But this morning, it's a pleasure to welcome Chancellor Howard Gillman. Howard Gillman became the 6th Chancellor of the University of California, Irvine in September 2014. Under Chancellor Gillman's leadership, UCI has been consistently ranked in the top 10 of all public universities in the nation by U.S. News and World Report, received national acclaim as the university's doing the most for the American dream, and expanded its capacity to improve lives in our region and around the world. Chancellor Gilman grew up in North Hollywood and was a first-generation college student, earning a bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in political science at UCLA. If I can take a point of personal privilege, it's said that changing the direction of a large enterprise is like trying to turn an aircraft carrier. An aircraft carrier has about 5,000 sailors. UCI has a population of 50,000, or 10 aircraft carriers. It's the vision and leadership of Chancellor Gilman that has kept UCI on course and operational during the pandemic, serving our students, faculty, staff, and community who are all thankful for his stewardship. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Chancellor Gilman.
Thank you so much, Alberto. Thanks for everything you do on behalf of UCI, everything you do on behalf of the Chamber. Real dedicated public servant. Thanks to everybody at the Chamber for what you do on behalf of Newport Beach. Thanks for all of you for being here. And it's fantastic to be with you this morning. Actually, I'm coming back. The last time I was here was soon after I was appointed Chancellor in 2015, and I'm glad I did a good enough job then to warrant another invitation to come back. So it's a real pleasure to be here. I thought I'd start with just a brief snapshot of where UCI is right now, if you haven't been paying close attention the last few months or years. Then say a few words about our role during the pandemic, where really the resources of an outstanding research university really come into play under circumstances like that. I want to just give you a feel for what it was like, and then tell you a little bit about where we're going, and with maybe some special emphasis on some health initiatives that I think are going to be of special interest to people in Newport Beach. So let's start with just some of the basics. UCI, as you know, is the county's only research university. That means we have a mission not just to teach, but also to discover, to create new knowledge, to heal, to promote wellness, and to serve the community in every way possible that any knowledge community can serve a broader community. We are a community now of a little over 50,000 people, about 55,000 students, faculty, and staff now, bigger than when I was here back in 2015, which makes us, in terms of population, a little bit larger than the city of Aliso Viejo. Our annual budget is about $3.8 billion. In other words, it's a big place, there's a lot going on, and keeps me busy. As you can imagine, we're involved in many different types of activities, not just research and teaching, but we're in the healthcare business, housing, dining, power generation, law, human resources, investment and cash management, business development. There's probably not a business activity that you can consider that doesn't also occur within our large and diverse community. So this makes us more like a city than a company. And I guess that makes me more like a mayor than a CEO, especially when people in my community come up to me and remind me all the time that they don't work for me, I work for them, which is probably right. So let me just take a second to brag a little bit about the campus. We receive a lot of accolades every year. These are just a few. For example, as Alberto mentioned, we're consistently ranked among the top 10 of all public research universities in the nation. We're generally ranked, by the way, in the top 100 of all universities in the world, and when you consider that there's about 10,000 institutions of higher learning in the world, being in the top 100 is pretty good. We're especially proud of how we combine excellence on traditional academic metrics with true access for people from all backgrounds. So for example, more than half of our students are the first in their families to go to a four-year college, as I was, and over 40% come from low-income families. A fun fact is that we have more students from low-income families on our one campus than does the entire Ivy League combined. And it's because of their success that the New York Times has twice declared UCI to be the #1 top college or university in America doing the most for the American dream, given the unique role we play to create genuine social mobility. And Money Magazine has named UCI its #1 best college for great value that we deliver at low cost. #1 in America for our combination of excellence and access. Not bad, really. And the thing that makes a university great fundamentally is really the quality of its faculty. UCI's faculty are among the very best in the world in their fields, and their contributions to the world are recognized with the highest honors. We have more than our fair share of Nobel Prizes, National Academy members, the usual. As just one recent example, Adriana Briscoe, just a few months ago, received a Guggenheim Fellowship this year to examine how butterflies are adapting to a warming planet And this research weaves together biophysics, genetics, physiology, and the evolution of butterflies' visual and thermal systems. This is one of thousands of faculty members. So in other words, a lot of smart people on the campus. It's humbling, actually, to know that every time you walk into a room, you are not the smartest person in the room on our campus. More generally, because all of our faculty are national leaders, UCI faculty attract almost $600 million of research funding into our community, mostly from federal sources that are investing in people in the country who are doing the most important and most impactful work. And that's a huge benefit to our broader community. Because we have top faculty, we're able to attract an extraordinary student body. And we're especially proud that over the past 3 years, we are at or near the top of UC campuses most desired by California high schoolers going to college in terms of the number of applications that each campus receives from college-bound high schoolers. And we're also #1 among all UC campuses in receiving applications from students who will be the first in their families to attend a 4-year college. Last year, if you can imagine, we had more than 133,000 prospective students apply for our fall 2021 class. Can you imagine 133,000? That's the third highest number of applications of any college or university in the United States of America. And if there was ever a time when UCI was considered a hidden gem or a well-kept secret, well, no longer. The word is out. And we've attracted all of this attention without even a football team. Although we do have the best mascot in all of higher education. So, zot, zot, zot. Of particular interest, I think, to you as business leaders is UCI's role as an anchoring institution in Orange County to drive growth and innovation. We are Orange County's second largest employer, and we have collectively about a $7 billion impact on the local economy. But we actually do much more. We also, of course, create ideas, we develop new products, we advance new technologies, and we supply the educated workforce that both regional and national economies demand in order to keep moving forward. So through, for example, campus units such as UCI Beal Applied Innovation, we make UCI's intellectual property available for commercial exploitation, and we nurture nascent outside businesses from concept all the way through to the final round of venture financing. And if any of you have not had a chance to visit UCI Beal Applied Innovation and learn more about the role we're playing within the region to develop an innovation economy, we'd be happy, just let us know and we'd be happy to have you come for a visit. So that's a bit of where we are right now. And day in and day out, ever since we were created about 56 years ago, we've answered the call to serve our community and our world, but at no point in the history of UCI have we ever felt that responsibility to mobilize our resources to serve the community more than we have during these past 18 months. My friends, tireless does not begin to describe the work of our faculty, staff, and students during this time. Because we were created 56 years ago so that under circumstances like this, we could be of enormous benefit to our broader community. And so, for example, even before various lockdowns started to occur in March of 2020, our experts were partnering with Orange County healthcare agencies. And throughout the crisis, we were also hosting many local and regional government officials and first responders in forums and town halls to share the latest information and trends. In fact, Mayor Will O'Neill and Councilmember Joy Brenner of Newport Beach attended one of our first COVID briefings back in February of 2020 as we were all preparing for a much more systematic response. And some of you might have seen our Dean of Public Health and other campus experts participate in over 40 various town halls hosted by federal, state, and local officials, many that represent Newport Beach. But it wasn't just us mobilizing for community outreach. When we made the decision in March of 2020 to go to remote instruction, we also made the decision to mobilize the campus's considerable research infrastructure to address a range of challenges presented by COVID. And just a few examples. Our engineering professors developed new antibody tests, which was going to be a critical step in safely reopening the economy. Our health physicians designed a prototype bridge ventilator to address shortages of those devices in the early months. Our engineering teams developed rapid new paper strip tests, less painful and speedier results than current swab tests. Our other researchers developed smartphone applications for contact tracing, where you could anonymously inform users of potential exposure. You can imagine with thousands of people on the campus, everyone, that list goes on and on and on about the way in which the campus mobilized to address this across many dimensions. And of course, at our medical center in Orange, Dr. Alpesh Amin and Dr. Lanny Shea led the early clinical trials of remdesivir, a medication originally developed to treat Ebola, and it remains one of the few treatment options for COVID-19. And we also applied, this was very interesting and shows the great partnership of a medical center in relationship to a big campus. We applied precision health, big data analytics, and the latest in artificial intelligence to begin to collect data on early COVID patients that were flooding our hospital system so that we could understand what the trajectory of their disease would be based on their entire medical record. And as a result of this, every single time a new patient came in, we learned something more about whether they could stay at home, whether they needed to be in the hospital. And it's one of the reasons why UCI Health achieved the best combined mortality rate and length of stay in hospital of any academic medical center in California. And as a result of our reputation for part of this response, the federal COVID-19 response team tapped UCI Health as a model also for delivering monoclonal antibody therapy, which has shown tremendous results so far in keeping patients out of the hospital. One final thing on our research to show how sometimes fundamental research is very important when unexpected things develop. We have one of our professors, Philip Feldner, is the director of our Vaccine Research and Development Center. He's devoted his career to developing coronavirus vaccines, flu vaccines and the like. Did very fundamental work that was central to the entire world effort to now develop what became the most rapidly developed vaccine that I think we've seen since vaccines became prevalent. And he became one of 7 international scholars worldwide this last year to win Spain's prestigious Princess of Asturias Award for technical and scientific research because his work over the years was so fundamental to us developing a vaccine, which is just quite incredible. Looking forward, by the way, we have a research team at the Gavin Herbert Eye Institute, which is at work in developing a preemptive vaccine that may work for any coronavirus so that you could thwart future outbreaks based on new developments, new deltas and the like moving forward. And of course, our public health people have also helped our local communities better understand the prevalence of COVID-19 in various communities, which are helping to identify disparities between and among communities in our region. You might have seen, by the way, that in December 2020, after the hospitals were becoming flooded with new cases, our medical center in Orange became the first Orange County hospital to stand up a field hospital in the parking lot of the medical center. Extraordinary work. Staff, students, faculty mobilized to build this amazing structure, essentially erecting a tent and stocked it with medical supplies in less than a week and a half. And those 40 extra patient beds ensured that we could manage the flood of COVID patients and also manage everybody else who needed access to an ICU. And just days after that field hospital was put up, we received the first doses of Pfizer vaccines to arrive in the county. And within hours, we were vaccinating our frontline workers. And to date, More than 120,000 doses of vaccine have been administered, including up to 5,000 doses per day when we converted our Bren Center, which is our normal basketball center, into a vaccine center. Just a real extraordinary amount of commitment and effort on the part of our community. And then we made sure that that expertise helped the community more generally. It wasn't just our medical response. UCI School of Education created an online learning research center to help parents of K through 12 students better cope with their distance learning environment. We've contributed to the resilience of local businesses such as the Pacific Symphony, Monarch Beach Resort, the Irvine Company properties, and many others that were learning how to safely resume their important work and service to our local economy by offering best practice advice. And all I can tell you is that even though the year was incredibly exhausting and traumatic in so many ways, the thing I will always remember about the year is how our community mobilized to try to serve others when what we had to offer was most in need. So very proud of the campus during the last terrible 18 months. But now we're looking forward. And so, as some of us were discussing before the event started, if you're going to go through a bad year, the chamber has to learn what kind of innovations you can continue to bring in to serve the community that you learned last year. We learned a lot about everything from healthcare delivery to instructional innovation to work-life balance among our workforce, and we are taking the best of what the pre-pandemic environment was like and the best of what we learned during this terrible year to create a new normal that combines the best of both worlds. And as a result of everything we've learned, in about 3 weeks, we're welcoming our 38,000 students back to campus. At least one of you has a grandchild who is a admitted freshman and excited about coming, and we can't wait for all of our new students to come back to campus. And we're making extensive arrangements to safely accommodate a rich student experience and a hybrid work environment. And as some of you know, we are requiring vaccinations. We're going to be extending and expanding testing protocols and contact tracing capabilities. We're providing opportunities for more flexible work for a lot of our extensive workforce. We're updating and expanding HVAC systems. We have to address a lot of return to work anxiety, which we've been spending a lot of time doing, and so on. It's been a tall order, but we're tremendously excited that we're coming back in person again as a community. And virtually all of our instruction will be in person. We've learned what works and what doesn't work, and in fact, students are going to benefit tremendously from all of the innovation that occurred last year. So let me talk a little bit about our new chapters in healthcare and wellness, and I'll close with just a few slides on this. These past months have proved that UCI Health, the largest and, in my humble opinion, the most important healthcare provider in Orange County, does have a special role to play in the life of the county, especially with our unique ability to marshal all of the resources of Comprehensive University in support of delivering the best and most up-to-date care. You'll recall about a year ago, the Chamber hosted the ribbon-cutting ceremony for our new Newport Beach UCI Health Clinic. Thanks again for that. But there's more. And as you may know, we are expanding our capabilities by building a $1 billion-plus medical center complex very near here on the corner of Jamboree and Birch. And we're doing this in order to address increasing demand for our specialty services. We want to improve patient access. We want to leverage the proximity to the main campus to support our goal of integrating clinical care research and teaching, and to bring our world-class physicians and care to your backyard. And so this new complex, which we're tremendously excited about, will include a 144-bed hospital with an emergency department, a comprehensive stroke center, and key service lines that will include cancer, digestive health, orthopedics, spine, and neuroscience. There'll be a center for advanced care which will include primary and multi-specialty care and a children's health center, and the ambulatory care center, which will provide 10 outpatient operating rooms, a comprehensive cancer center with multidisciplinary clinics, radiation oncology and infusion, advanced imaging, including nuclear medicine, and state-of-the-art telehealth and hospital-at-home options. And moreover, we're going to plan a health and wellness trail that will connect the healing gardens at the medical center to a 1-mile bicycle and pedestrian trail following the edge of the San Joaquin Marsh Reserve to San Diego Creek, where a proposed bridge will take pedestrians onto the campus. And this naturescape will be open to the public, and I think will be a wonderful resource for Newport Beach residents. We're going to break ground on the first building in just a few weeks, and we plan to have the hospital and other facilities in full operation in about 4 or 5 years, with some pieces of the medical complex coming online a little bit sooner than that. Now, I mentioned a few moments ago that one of our reasons for building this new medical center is that we want to leverage the proximity to the main campus to support our goal of integrating clinical care with research and teaching. And to that end, the Susan and Henry Samueli College of Health Sciences is undergoing a major expansion. You might have seen this building go up on the corner of Bison and California, although when Bison now crosses California, we've renamed the portion that continues to the campus Michael Drake Way, after our former chancellor and the new president of the University of California. But that's what's going up on that corner. And the college is made up of the academic health programs. It's the School of Medicine and Nursing and Pharmacy, and our program in public health, which will soon be a school, and the Susan Samueli Integrative Health Institute. And we're constructing 2 major new buildings to hold administrative offices, classrooms, laboratories, clinical spaces, and so on. And this is where faculty from across the health science disciplines will interact every day, where students will move out of their silos and learn about their counterparts, and where integrative health will come to life on the academic side. And of course, none of this would be possible, none of it would have even been dreamt of without the vision, enthusiasm, and extraordinary philanthropy of Henry and Susan Samueli. And needless to say, all of us are very grateful for their support. They've helped make UCI a beacon for the brightest faculty in all related disciplines, in places where they can do their best work to tackle grand challenges. And speaking of grand challenges, tackling grand challenges is what America's research universities do. You know, we've always been on the cutting edge of science. I don't know if you recall this story, but in 1972, one of our founding faculty members, chemistry professor Sherwood Rowland, and his postdoctoral student, Mario Molina, they discovered that CFCs, a chemical compound that was globally used in refrigerants and aerosol spray cans, were weakening the ozone layer of our atmosphere. Do you remember this debate? And the ozone layer protects us from UV radiation and is essential for life to continue on Earth. And their work led to a ban on the use of CFCs, and that later won them a Nobel Prize in chemistry a few years later. And the Nobel Prize citation said they may well have saved the world from catastrophe. And so I want you to know that in addition to all of the other good work that our university does, I think we also, without exaggeration, should get a little bit of credit from saving the world from catastrophe. Not a lot of institutions can say that. And some of the most important innovations in human health are being made possible by the convergence of research in the life sciences, physical sciences, engineering, information and computer science, and so on. And work across these disciplines is also yielding critical advances in fields like energy, food, climate, water. And so we have constructed an interdisciplinary science and engineering building to foster, facilitate, and promote translational problem-oriented research that tackles big questions across disciplinary boundaries. This building is the largest such research building constructed west of the Mississippi in many decades. And it opened earlier this year, and we will all be amazed by the research and innovation that arises from it. Now, none of this growth would be possible without the tremendous outpouring of support from our friends in the community, people of goodwill who, are making a transformational difference in the development of UCI because they recognize ultimately that that will make a real difference in the world. And, we know that the people who benefit the most from our work beyond our students will be people in this region, our neighbors, our friends, our supporters, our advocates. And I think whatever your view is of what we need to do to contribute to a better quality of life in our region, whether it's healthcare and wellness promotion or the quality of our K through 12 schools or enhanced business development or environmental sustainability or a lively arts culture, I think we stand ready to be a partner for people that care about the future of our region and want to make it better. And what can I say? Gifts to UCI truly make a difference to the education of our students, to the wide impact our research and public service has. And, what can I say? If life has been good to you and you're looking for ways to make a difference, please give us a call. So there's a lot going on. That's a snapshot of recent events and where we are today and where we're going. So, dear friends, thank you again for inviting me. I really had a great time, and we'll see you around. We'll see you around.
Thank you, Chancellor. It's always wonderful to hear updates, but it's always wonderful to share what I see on campus, but I get the energy that you share this morning as well. So thank you so much. Last word, Steve?
Yeah, of course. Always I get the last word. That's why I get the big bucks. Thank you, Howard. I mean, clearly we are fortunate to have such a man running our university here in Orange County. My son's a graduate 11 years ago, and even in just that time, the investment we made in his education and the reputation of the school and all that has just ballooned, and will continue to do so as you can see the kinds of things that they're doing on campus. I will say, backing up what he was talking about in the medical field, that there is a healthy frenemy, competition, I don't know, whatever. And we've benefited greatly by it at the Chamber. I know I've sold the cover of our magazine to City of Hope and to Hogue. Maybe we'll get UCI next year. They've opened up a interdisciplinary facility here in town, UCI has, as well as City of Hope. Hogue Hospital just purchased another hospital in Irvine. They're building, we call your new hospital campus Newport adjacent. It's not in Irvine, it's Newport adjacent. So thank you. It's a stone's throw from our office, and we hope to be there frequently, maybe to use your conference room for a Wake Up Newport meeting someday over there. But yes, we're very fortunate to have an institution like UCI here in Orange County, and thank you. The other thing you don't even really think about, by having a great institution of learning like UCI in Orange County, we all benefit, not just from the medical aspect where I can go to a hospital and get world-class medical care now, and I don't have to go to LA or up to Duarte for City of Hope or things like that, but even just in our property values or just our general well-being. All boats rise in a rising tide, and certainly they're a rising boat. So thank you again, Chancellor. I will just conclude with a few of the upcoming things that we have going on, and it's actually amazing. I wrote out the list here, the kinds of things that we have coming up in the next 5 or 6 weeks. So next week is our Fire and Lifeguard Appreciation Dinner on September 9th. We're going to have about 300 people at the Hyatt. Sheldon here is one of the chairs of the event. It's been sold out for a month. We have a few tickets. If you really want to go, you can buy them online, but effectively the event is sold out. And that's going to be great. We'll be honoring our firefighters and lifeguards here in Newport Beach. We are going to have our luncheon, a networking luncheon on the 15th at the BCYC, the Bahia Corinthian Yacht Club, from 11:30 to 1. On the 16th, the next day, is our Government Affairs Committee meeting. I think we're going to be at the BCYC again. Don't have the speaker yet, but I'm sure we'll have someone good. Our women's group, Inspire Women in Business, is going to be meeting on September 21st. That's going to be a luncheon. On the 23rd, we're going to be having our Sunset Mixer. I'm putting together kind of a unique event. I've never heard of another chamber doing it. We're going to have a chamber crawl, okay? over in Via Lido Marina Village there. We have Nobu and Circle Hook and Lido Bottle Works are our members, and so we're going to have a kind of a progressive thing from one to the other. It should be a lot of fun. Definitely come out for that. Our 59th annual Sandcastle contest is going to happen in Corona del Mar Beach on the September 26th. I want to thank, again, First Republic Bank and City of Hope, who are our sponsors for that event. One of our signature events, our economic forecast, is October 5th. We just put out a couple emails on that. We're already getting good signups for it. If you want to go, it's going to be at the Balboa Bay Resort. Again, we're partnering with UCI and Chris Schwartz with the Center for Investment and Wealth Management. He's given our update over the last several years, and we did a series of them through the pandemic as webinars. One of them, we had 1,200 people register for the webinar. So that should be exciting. We'll have other speakers that we'll be announcing as well. And then we'll be back here on October 7th for Wake Up Newport. So have a great rest of your week. Oh, last thing is we're going to be announcing our new Citizen of the Year today, who doesn't even know that person's going to be announced today. So stay tuned for the, be in the newspaper tomorrow. But, and that's another event that we'll be doing in November, Citizen of the Year. So thank you all for coming. There's lots of great food back there still. Please take a bagel or a pastry or some fruit on your way out, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.